we're living in a period of extinction. We're going to see a lot of dead bodies around us, unfortunately. And these are going to be both established companies and, of course, a lot of startup companies. And it's, I think, fairly obvious if your company relies on foot traffic, if it relies on tourism, if it relies on hospitality, if it relies on retail vending, those companies are going to die because established companies are dying. If you look at big established companies, chains, franchises, they're all having to reinvent themselves or they're going under. And we here are certainly seeing a lot of that, not only in the United States, but in the Middle East and in Europe, of course. It's going to be a bloodbath, and it is a bloodbath, and it's continuing. So if you cannot move your model from where you are to an online model, at least temporarily, you're not going to continue to exist unless you freeze everything, shut down. And for a startup, that is, I'll say, virtually impossible because you have people who need paychecks. You have people who can survive for 5 or 6 months because it is a startup. There's no revenue generating. It's going to be brutal, and it's going to probably get worse before it gets better. And I think there are unfounded bursts of optimism about getting a vaccine in the next few months. That's just not realistic, not because we may not be able to invent a vaccine, but because once you invent a vaccine and test it and go through all the procedures, you have to make the vaccine. And you have to make the vaccine to cover everyone in the world, or at least enough people so that the disease doesn't spread. And you're talking about billions of vaccines, and that's not something you do overnight. So realistically, hopefully, realistically, by the end of 2021, another year from now, plus a year and a half, we may see a vaccine. We're gonna have to figure out how to live with this disease before we're able to eradicate it. And that means that you have to put a lot of your ideas in the closet. It creates opportunities for people who can afford to build their company right now because they're either funded, well-funded, and they don't need to go to market for a couple of years, or because they're able to sustain themselves on their own. And so if you can survive this next year and a half to 2 years, then I think you'll come out to a marketplace where you may be the only company standing in your field.